Welcome to Doors to Hope and Healing, an inside look at the many facets of work that is happening at the Department of Children and Families, between our staff, the families we serve, and our community partners. My name is Jaqueline Ford. I have had the honor of working for the department for almost 30 years. And although I may be familiar with many of the topics we bring to you, I have invited experts in those fields to help us dispel the myths and misconceptions that can often be barriers to our work. Join us as we open our doors and invite you to have a seat at our table. Thank you all for being on the set of Doors to Hope and Healing today. Anyone who knows me knows that I don't believe in coincidences. I believe that everything that happens is meant to be, and I'm excited to bring this show to our viewers, and they'll see how really it was divine how I had the opportunity to meet everyone and connect us all here today. So before we get started with our show, Lisa, can you introduce yourself to the viewers?
Oh, sure. I'm Lisa Licio. I'm a real estate professional for All Points Century 21 and the Brantford office.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Darius?
Yeah, I'm Darius Texera. I'm the owner of Social Pulse Media.
Wow, exciting.
Hi, and I'm Ayanna Pierce, and I'm a supervisor at the Care Line for the Department of Children and Families.
Wow, well, thank you all for being here. I'm sure our viewers are saying, well, how is this all connected? And I'm excited to share how we are all connected as we have our show today. Lisa, let's start with you. What inspired you years ago to want to have a toy drive to benefit the Department of Children and Families?
Well, I've always felt a connection with DCF. Years ago, I used to own a bridal salon, and some of my clients, brides, were working for DCF. And I had actually expressed to them that I had always wanted to be a foster parent or get involved in that process. But, you know, being a single person, I thought maybe I would forgo that. And so now I'm being able to give back through my relationship with you, Jaqueline.
Yes, which I'm so grateful to have. Why does it feel that it's important to support the families that our department serves? You know, there's so many different toy drives that are out there. Why the DCF?
Well, like I said, that's very closely linked to how I personally feel about the organization. Mm-hmm. And giving back to children in general, I think, is very important. But being able to support children in our own area, I think, is very valuable.
Right, it sure is. How has your community responded to your toy drive? Because you're going into your 4th year. Over the years, you know, when you first launched it to where we are today, how has the community responded?
Well, I started collecting teddy bears with you years ago,
That's
like
right.
8 years ago. And I quickly learned that there was such an outreach and that people really wanted to donate and help. And so we started the toy drive, and it was really successful our first year. Last year, we almost made our goal of 2,000, and we're really hoping to do that through the community and the support that we have. We have really built a great network of people that do come out and share in that night for us.
And how do you build that network of support? Is it through word of mouth? How are you building?
Well, we do a lot through word of mouth, but Darius is my social manager, and he does do a lot of advertising for us on social media.
Which is definitely the place to advertise these days. Excited to hear about your business as well. How would you say your toy drive has grown over the years from when you first had that toy drive was it at Doma the first time?
Doma was the first one.
Yes.
And we have bebopped around. We've done, this will be our second one that we're doing at the Mediterranean Bistro. But it really serves as a great way of kicking off the holidays. And I feel that, you know, our friends and family and people in the community really do come out to enjoy that night and give back to DCF.
Yes. And as a recipient of that toy drive, you know, we're very grateful. If one of our viewers is watching right now and they want to know how that they can donate a toy for one of the youth involved with DCF, how would they go about doing that?
Oh, sure. They can contact me at any time. Contact Darius and Kelly Vanacore. You know, we will certainly go and get a toy. They could drop it off at our office. You know, the day of the event, they can drop toys off at any time.
And then the event itself, we'll keep making a plug about the event, but if you can explain the event.
So we start at 6:30, and we will have live entertainment. Mike Martone, who's a good friend of mine. He does like photography, and he also is a great DJ. He's going to be donating his time. So we really enjoy and try and make it a really special night and very entertaining for everybody.
Yeah, to show your gratitude for everyone who is donating those toys. To walk into that room and see all those toys, it's definitely an emotional experience. What's been the most rewarding part of doing the toy drive every year?
Well, I have to say, when you do look at the room and there are 2,000 toys or close to, you really feel like, gosh, there's so much joy in giving. Last year, I do know Darius through common friends. And last year was the first time Darius had come. And he had pulled me to the side and said, I just want to let you know how important this is to me, because I was a child in DCF. And so it just strengthened our bond and our work relationship, and able to give back to DCF is so important to us.
Yeah, and of course that's why we've invited Darius to come here today to talk to us about that connection, because when you do have a personal connection to a cause, and even if you just kind of matter-of-factly found out about that, it makes for a much different experience, not only for you and the work that you're doing, but for us who's involved with that. Lisa, how did it feel to come to the Olive Branch last week and actually see the site where all the toys are going to be gathered, where families are invited to shop?
Right. So one of the biggest initiatives that we wanted to do this year was to educate our donors and the people that come to give the gifts. Where do they go? How does it get to the children? And, what is the process with DCF? And so showing the Olive Branch is very important to educate the people that are actually giving the toys.
Right. Yeah, it is important. And, for our viewers that are watching, because you came, the Olive Branch is a community space, donated community space, where all of the toys and gifts are brand new. And families that have open DCF cases are invited to come in and shop by appointment only, so that they can have a hand in creating either a birthday joy or a Christmas joy or whatever holiday that they celebrate, or maybe just because. And it really helps lessen the burden that our families are carrying, and they can leave that store with dignity. So it's because of your toy drive and other toy drives in the community, but yours is definitely the largest toy drive. Those gifts, those toys, they sustain the way the Olive Branch is able to operate all year long, because families continue to come in and continue to have these quality toys that they can choose from. And they're not secondhand. They're brand new in the wrapper. Their children are the first ones to use it, and they deserve to have that experience. So I am so grateful for you having this for us every single year. So Darius, I had the pleasure of meeting you last week, and I think it was just a matter of a couple days ago, and we pulled this opportunity together so that our viewers could hear about the toy shop and the toy drive, but also to hear about your personal connection. When you yourself were in foster care, and you shared that with me on Thursday, how has your foster care journey shaped you into who you are today?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely wasn't an easy experience by any means, but I think that, with anybody that goes through something difficult and comes out on the other side of it, it does make you stronger. I think it's definitely made me more independent, more confident. There's definitely been a lot of obstacles to get to that place, but now that I'm on the other side of it all, I think that I wouldn't have not wanted to have that experience, because it has made me who I am now.
What benefits did you have when you were in the department's care? Were you able to attend college through the benefits offered to you?
Yep. So I was able to attend, I went to Southern Connecticut State University, and that was covered through DCF, because I was not adopted at that time.
So you were considered a child in foster care.
Exactly, correct.
Yes, and then during that time, you did get to know a family. Can you share the family that you got to know and who ultimately adopted you in your young adulthood?
Yeah, so I used to do a lot of dance back in the day, and I met my mom's daughter now through dance class, and she would always, always tell me like, "Oh, you're so sweet. Oh, I wish I had a son," stuff like that. And at the time, the family that I was with wasn't working out, basically. And when stuff kind of went south, she was the first one to be like, well, then you're obviously coming to live with me. And I'm just like worrying about things I didn't have to worry. I'm like, you can't, you're not licensed. And she's like, I'll get licensed, it's fine. And so she, did what she needed to do, and I didn't want to go anywhere else. I made that very clear to Ayana at the time too. Like, this is where I want to go. I don't want to be in a random place. And we made that work, and I got adopted about 4 or 5 years ago in 2019.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Why is it important to you? This is National Adoption Awareness Month, which is a very important opportunity for our department to talk about adoption and permanency, and why it's so important for our kids to have permanency, whether that's going back to their birth families or being adopted. Why was it so important for you, even in your mid-20s, to be adopted by a family?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just, it was relief, but it was validation. It was security. It was like a lot of things, but it was also just like finally being like feeling somewhat normal. Feeling like, oh, I'm actually like a part of a family. Not that they ever made me feel like I wasn't before they adopted me, but still there was something about finally just like, well, I'll backtrack a little. So they actually did it at like Christmas, and they gave me like a little box, and it had like a letter in it. And so like I start reading the letter, and like I'm not one to like get too emotional, and like I just like broke down. And so then like that's when everybody knew, like, yes, like, so they know how much like it meant to me to be adopted. And then like as soon as the new year hit, we actually went and made it official, and it just makes you feel like finally like you're a part of a real family.
Sure.
And that's important for anybody to have, whether you're an adult or a child. You want to feel like you're a part of, you're loved and you're a part of a family.
Right, right. So the letter at Christmas wasn't an invitation that they wanted to bring you into their lives and have you be adopted. More of a formal procedure, because you already were family.
Right. But still, just hearing the words or reading the words made it, I don't know.
Oh, wow. I can't. You're giving me goosebumps. So I can just imagine what that must have felt like for you and what a great friend you have in Delaney, whose parents stepped up and wanted to do that for you.
Right.
So you mentioned Ayana, who is somebody who is a significant part of your childhood, of your time in care. And this was a surprise that she's here today. And I did ask you to prepare what you would tell her if you had the opportunity to talk to her. So tell me what that would have been.
Yeah. I wanted to say thank you, obviously. Thank you. No, I mean, I was probably like 15 or 16 when I met her. And she played a big role in like that final transition out of my last home before the home that I got adopted in. So she was there for probably one of the hardest transitions in my life. And even though I was going through difficult stuff, she was always there and she was always supporting me. But she was always the one to also make sure like I was on top of my stuff too. Like whether it was school or work or whatever it was, like she didn't want to hear it. It was like, this is what we're doing, okay? Which was great because I needed that push, and especially when you're getting distracted by all of the negative stuff that's going on too, to have somebody that's still like, well, don't lose yourself in this, Like, I need you to do good. I want you to be good. And I know I wasn't a very good student for a while, and I did turn that around, and I wanted to let her know, like, I graduated, I got a job, I started a business, and like, I'm doing great and I'm succeeding, and I became a proper functioning adult, and I do owe some of that acknowledgement to you. So thank you.
Hi, Anna. You're emotional. I think we're all emotional. What a significant role a social worker has in the life, especially of an adolescent who needs them. And sometimes you're the only adult in their life that they feel at a moment in time is there for them. Right. How are you feeling right now after not seeing Darius for, I think we said since he was a sophomore in college, right? And you're 30 years old now. How does it feel to be here and to see him?
It feels great, but I had no doubt in my mind that Darius would be successful. Darius was always kind. He was always kind and a little stubborn at times, but respectfully, right? Respectfully stubborn. And I'm just really proud of you even though I had no doubt that you would be successful, I'm just really proud. I'm really happy to be sitting here. I'm really, I can't wait to see what your next phase of life brings you and where it takes you, because I always knew that you would be someone. So I'm not shocked by all the things that you're doing. And he's right. I think that as far as, in my opinion, we had a great relationship. We had a really good relationship. And I took my role as a social worker very seriously. And sometimes it felt like being a single mom of like 10, 11, 12, 13 kids sometimes. And all the kids needed to be at a sporting event at the same time. So at times it was a struggle. And I was very honest with Darius when I needed him to be patient with me. And there was a lot of praise and sometimes punishment, right? And that's what he's speaking to, because him going to college is not a surprise because it was non-negotiable. Yes. Right? It was non-negotiable. So I'm really, I'm really very proud of you, but definitely not surprised.
Well, I thank you for being able to be here. I think that for me, in seeing the relationship and learning about it, we're talking about just a few days, and Ayanna dropped everything to be here today to see you and to celebrate you. And I think that's a true testament to commitment and the care that she provided to you, almost in a parenting role, holding you accountable and calling you out when you needed to be. And I think we all need that in our lives. We all deserve to have that in our lives. So I thank you for being here with us today. So Darius, tell us about your business.
Yeah, so I have a company called Social Pulse Media. It's just social media marketing online. So primarily I help small businesses grow on social media through reach and engagement. I also do social media advertising through Facebook and Instagram as well. So basically I just kind of like partner with the business. We kind of talk about what their expectations are, and I try to customize how I can do that for them to still make it affordable, but also make sure that we're still getting the job done correctly and meeting those goals. So it's a lot of conversations beforehand, but we get it done, and it's super fun to work with people that are local in my community too, and be more involved in the community and those businesses. And it's fun, it's rewarding, and it's what I went to school to do. So being able to do it on my own has been really, really exciting.
Yeah, I'm sure it has. So you went to school for what? What was your degree?
I went to Southern, and I majored in communication. My focus was advertising and promotions. So I'm just like playing right into that. So
did you ever think you'd be sitting on Nutmeg television, Doors to Hope and Healing, and telling your story?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. So what drew you to work with Lisa?
Yeah, so I mean, Lisa's been in my friend group for a while now. And then once I went to the toy drive last year for the first time, and I was very overwhelmed by, it was a lot of toys. So it was very overwhelming, but it was fun. And then towards like the end of the night, I did kind of pull her aside and let her know that, how special it was for me to be able to participate in this, and I wasn't aware about it. And so then from there, once I kind of started my business, she, we kind of talked, and she's like, could you help me? And I was just like, absolutely. And so we kind of partnered together, and we've been working together for a little while now. So now to have that kind of circle into helping out with the toy drive, it's kind of full circle a little bit too. So.
Yes, it is. And do you see yourself as staying involved with the toy drive for the years to come? If
I already told her, like, whether we're partnered together or not at that time, the toy drive will be consistent.
Okay.
And also growing it too.
Right.
Visiting you last week was really informative because we know that you want to expand and you want to have different outposts, which is a great idea because you are only one person.
Right.
So
yes.
Even though you do the work of many, I think it's really important that people understand that there's room for volunteering and doing other outposts, throughout the state.
Sure. And I think it was important for me to have the two of you come to here because, like Ayanna knows, DCF is not the same DCF as when you were in care. We're trying to change that, reduce the stigma, and trying to let the community know that we're not just a child placing agency. And although there are going to be times when children have to go into foster care to keep them safe, that's not our goal. Is to keep families together. So the whole mission behind the Olive Branch is for families to shop before their children are taken out of the home, and hopefully their children are not removed. And not that a toy store is going to stop a child from being removed, but it's alleviating a burden that family is carrying that just may add more stressors to their lives. So really that's what the mission about the Olive Branch is. And like I shared with you, it's more than just the shopping experience. Families are meeting one another, and the community who's coming in to volunteer is offering support and services to our families. So, when I had you at the store and you shared your story, it just made perfect sense to bring you here and share that. And I think that's a great partnership that you have, because Darius gets it. He knows what it feels like to be a foster child, and how important it is to reduce those stigmas. So Darius, if anybody was watching right now and they were thinking about either being a foster parent or an adoptive parent, what message would you have for them?
Yeah, I mean, I would encourage anybody to help a child that needs help. So yeah, if you're considering being a foster parent or adopting a child, absolutely do it. There's so many kids that need that, and after going through that, I won't say that it will be an easy experience for either of you, though, for the child as well. But it's so worth it at the end, whether you're a parent or a kid. I think that it's just really important to do that.
And what about a youth who may be watching who is struggling, and you're inspiring them? What words would you have for a youth that maybe is in foster care, or maybe they've given up hope that there is that permanent family out there for them, for whatever that reason is? What words of hope would you leave with them?
I think first I'd want them to know that they're loved, whether they know it or not. They are. In terms of hope, I would encourage them not to lose hope, which can be hard when there's a lot of negative things going around in your life, or a lot of uncertainty and inconsistency. But hope can help can help kind of guide you and pull you out onto the other side of things. Just know that it will get easier, which I know is kind of cliche to say, but when you're younger, everything that you're looking at is not as clear as when you're older. So just hang on and just know that you're cared for, even if it's by strangers that you don't know. Like there's a community around you. There's people that are trying to support you. It could be your teachers. It could be your foster parent. It could be some friend that you meet at this dance class. Like you don't know,
Right.
But just know that you're loved by way more people than you think you are, and don't lose hope.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, the trajectory of your life, and I'm grateful that you met your friend Delaney and that her family embraced you and adopted you. Ayana, do you have anything you'd like to say to maybe one of the viewers watching about one of our kids? We have teens in care who need that forever, lifelong placement, and I'm sure that this has been emotional for you to see your career come full circle after all these years. To have some person at DCF that you never even met before call you and ask you to come on a TV show. I appreciate you being here and sharing your voice. But if you have anything that you'd like to add?
I would just say that I am actually glad to have received the call, because, Darius is the goal, right? I was not his parent, even though I acted like his parent most of the time. And that's the goal. We want our kids to grow up and do better than us. And so as I was walking in here, I was looking for the car, right? I was looking for a car better than mine, right? He has his own business. So he made it, right? He made it. And I would just say that my experience as an adolescent social worker was a very trying one at times, but it was by far the most rewarding in my career. We had a lot of good times. Teenagers are fun.
Yes, they are.
There's no car seats that you have to put in the car. And I would just say that although although being a social worker was my job, I really didn't try, when Darius and I were together, I tried not to make him feel like he was a foster child. You know, I showed up as your favorite auntie. I was just a good friend. I was never really his social worker to other people. And, you know, just having really honest conversations with Darius and really encouraging him to support me to best support him. So I did, you know, I don't want to say force, but I encouraged Darius to show up for meetings that involved him. I encouraged Darius to become a part of our youth advisory board. And so those were the things that I did for him. And I would just say that if teenagers are just really, it can be the most trying time, but for me, it was the most rewarding. Like to see my kids go off to college and, you know, I was able to give someone away, you know, get married, have kids, and just to kind of be a part of that. And I'm most proud that, you know, Darius has found his village. He's established great friendships. He has permanency in a family that I knew always would be, because right from the beginning, his mom was referring to him as her son. And it was a very natural connection for all of us because I'm very protective over my kids. So it was just like, you know, her spirit was genuine and he fit right in. Right. And so I would just say that there is a silver lining. There is a silver lining. And, you know, there's that saying, faith without works is dead. So you keep the faith and you got to do the work. You know, we do the work and also Darius did the work and then voila. Right.
Yes.
This is it. This is the goal. So I'm very, very proud of Darius, but again, not surprised.
Well, thank you. Thank you all for being here. Before we close our show today, Lisa, if you can just remind us again when the toy drive is and a little bit of information, and then we'll have a link so that if anyone's interested in learning more about the toy drive, they can do that.
Oh, sure. It's December 12th at 6:30 it starts at the Mediterranean Bistro in East Haven. And we do ask that you bring a toy for all ages, not just for the younger kids in DCF. We tend to forget about the older children.
I know.
So I know that one of the things that the older kids are looking for are technically driven gifts, and that's a lot to ask. But if anybody out there has any old computers or laptops that are in really good shape, please let us know. But we do look forward to seeing everybody. It is definitely the highlight of the year for myself and people involved. So we're really, really happy to be able to do this for DCF.
Thank you. And it's a highlight for us too. And, you know, we know how much work goes into this. This isn't something you just pull together overnight. So thank you for your time and your heart and your talent in making this all come together, and for being a connector, because we're really all here because of you.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you for watching this segment of Doors to Hope and Healing. If you're interested in being a foster or adoptive parent, visit our website for more information. And if you're interested in participating in the toy drive, you can touch base with Lisa at the link provided. Thank you very much.
Nick Augustino right here at the East Side Restaurant. We always have the complete full dinner menu. Knockwurst, bratwurst, sauerbraten, potato pancakes, red cabbage, rice pudding, cream pies, all the desserts that Germany had to offer. I always do something different. Yes, I do. I brought seafood to the beer garden at the East Side Restaurant. East Side Restaurant, your German destination restaurant in Connecticut. Tiki-taka, hoy, hoy, hoy!